Okay, well, I'm going to get started. As I said, I want to be cognizant of your time and welcome you all tonight to our Festival of Learning Week 2. And I'm Angela Spease. I'm from the Laguna Sunrise Rotary Club here in Elk Grove, California. We're the sister club of Elk Grove Rotary. And we've been around for over 38 years now, I believe. We're coming up on our 40th year soon. So I've been a member, just went over 11 years with Rotary. So that was in this month, actually. So I've been proud member of the Elk Grove Rotary Laguna Sunrise. So tonight's going to be collaborative and engaging because no one person has all the answers when it comes to what we do within our service projects for our communities and our cities. So be thinking as I'm going through information. The chat is here for you to have any kinds of questions. So use chat to ask questions. Please stay muted because different doggies and different things make noise. But raise your hand if you really need to say something out to the group. And then we'll have question and answer time. And again, if I call on you, we'll unmute you and let you speak. So, but again, click on the chat icon to type your messages to me so I can see it. And we appreciate your time here tonight. And first rule of Rotary I'm going to talk about is, remember, we're here to have fun. So projects and ideas. One of the things that I always get asked about our community service projects, not to just say it's just us, but I think our District 5180 is phenomenal at doing community service projects. And I think you can get a lot of different project ideas from not only people within your club, but leaders in your community, and finding out from them what is the biggest need they think. So ideas are out there. We just have to learn to ask the questions to people too. So how do you find out what's needed, right? So the biggest need in your community for you could be different than the need in my city here in Elk Grove. So Gridley's on the line. I know there's other areas that have other focus that maybe yours could be the food banks in need. With all of us experiencing COVID and the food shortages and shelter in place orders and all these things out here in Elk Grove, one of our biggest needs was getting food to our shelter in place seniors. So our club launched into partnership with our local food bank and started helping deliver to people's doorsteps their foodness that they needed so desperately. So, and the way we found out that, like I said, is through asking the questions to the other nonprofits, the other leaders within our community. I came up with a lot of ideas as the community services chair with Laguna Sunrise Rotary by writing my city councilmen and city councilwomen, the other nonprofits that are out within our city. Some of I borrowed ideas from District 5180, our Rotary5180.org. Go to that website. People advertise what they're doing in their clubs. If you did not know that, write that down, Rotary5180.org. Go out there. There's events listed on a calendar that people are doing all across our district. Also, Rotary.org. Has anyone out here heard of Rotary Showcase at all? If you haven't, you need to sign on to your Rotary.org. Go under your Member Central and start exploring out there. There's a plethora of ideas, but there's just so much out there. It's kind of like a fire hose sometimes, to be honest. So I would also, because we're all within this Northern California region, you know, local newspapers, social media, all these different areas to get ideas, because people say, how do you get these ideas? Behind me, you'll notice I have our rotary cogwheel and the different areas of focus. I know the environment one's not there yet. I got to get the new one, but all these different areas of focus can also help with ideas. So right now we're helping with preventing, you know, COVID getting more progressive across the nation, right? So there is desperate need that the local sheriff or police department needs our help to help with vaccination logistics so people can volunteer there. So there's, if you look into each one of these areas and Google things in your community, you can come up with lots of ideas of how to engage your Rotarians in a safe way into different projects. So one thing that I always do with projects that we do is invite the newspapers, invite TV to come out to every single event. Doesn't mean they're going to show up to everything, but I always invite them out. And if you don't know how to get in touch with your local newspaper or TV stations, it's quite simple. Again, Google is my best friend. And you can find out a lot of different information that way. I'd be happy to share after this. My email address is right here. I have a listing from 2019 of all the different TV stations in the greater Sacramento area that I can share with you all, and of who the contacts are for like Good Day Sacramento, KCRA, etc. Because again, to get people knowing what we're doing is key to it being impactful and efficient. Anyone? Another thing with service projects and being successful is having strategies every time you come into a project that you're going to do with your club. So I am a big proponent of forming a committee of people that are going to help execute the project. All too often it's one or two people. Sometimes I've found in the, like I said, 11 years I've been a Rotarian, that if people don't delegate and give people something to engage with, that those sit on the sidelines. So I was joking a little bit earlier with Rob Sachs about being voluntold by Mary Jo for something with this or that. And you know, again, if you don't ask people for help, it's hard as even our own Rotarians. Sometimes we get, I can't do it all. Can you assist me? You don't have to say it that way. You just say, hey, you know, I'd really love to use your skill set to help me with this project. So just ask people that way. And most of the time they're not going to say no. They just have to understand how they can help. And that's why people say, oh, people don't volunteer to do stuff. They don't know what to do. Well, you tell them how they can help you and how important they are, and they're going to be part of this committee, and you appreciate that help. And then they kind of come along. And then I delegating the roles and being a pleasant pest, I put on here because when you're the person that's executing the projects and making sure that they're going to happen, you do need to follow up with people, because we are all professionals. Everybody does have different priorities, right? And it's not that they're not trying to do what you've asked them to do, but maybe they need a text, maybe they need an email, maybe they need a good old-fashioned phone call. So again, I find those are good strategies. If someone doesn't respond to me from 2 emails, then I'm going to pick up the phone, or I'm going to text them and try to get a hold of them a different way. Again, partners and advertising is key to a successful service project. Partners meaning local businesses, the big corporate businesses. A lot of the, you know, we have a big car dealership, an auto mall here that we hit up almost every time for every different project, but different ones want to participate at different times. And again, getting those community partners, and they get the advertising and the benefit of being in the event, they like that for their business too, because it's all about a win-win for the community or city that you live in. So I find that those are successful strategies for service projects. Asking for help is what Rotarians definitely want to hear from us, is like what Bob is saying. I do believe that making people ourselves feeling empowered and how we can help. I have a picture here of one of our service projects that we're doing in Laguna Sunrise Rotary. Again, I was talking to you about free meals. And what we were doing was taking signups to deliver, this was during the holidays, an extra meal during Thanksgiving time frame. So we went to where the people were to get the signups. People go, how do you get people to know things? And we went to the local food bank where people are already going because they need food. And we had a sign up area right there so that they could know where we're going to be. And we were in partnership with the food bank and their Thanksgiving turkey drive at the same time. So they ended up with 2 meals in one day. So they would have 2 separate meals during the Thanksgiving time frame. And again, this was effective and efficient because we partnered with the big nonprofit of the Elk Grove Food Bank too. And they helped us get our message out. And we also use Sign Up Genius as well for people to be able to sign up for meals as well. So if we didn't get enough signups there at the food bank, we then turned it up to Sign Up Genius saying we only have so many meals available for those in need. And that's how we got over, I believe is over 1,600 meals out to our community during the holidays. So that's a big one to me, that we hadn't honestly been in we've stocked food at the food bank before and done stuff at the food bank, but we never worked in partnership to getting the food and the meals to the people that way. And that was the other piece. Not everybody could drive. We talked about the shelter in place folks that could not leave their apartments and whatnot. So through Sign Up Genius, I forgot, we also used Sign Up Genius to reach out to city, just everyday members, because we didn't have enough Rotarians to volunteer to go deliver the meals to the apartment complexes to those 55 and older folks that were shelter bound. And so just we got at least 3 or 4 extra new members to our club meetings through Zoom during COVID, and turned a few into Rotarians as well because of this kind of reach out to the community to come help us execute and get food to those most in need. So that's an idea of kind of a way to recruit too and involve all kinds of people from your community. I like this slide, just the together we learn. And I wanted to open it up for a few people here in the chat to talk about, through projects, what do you think you can learn the most, or help other people learn through projects? Does anyone have any comments on that, as how together when we go out and do different projects, how people learn? So I get to know fellow members better, right? Because as you saw in that previous picture, that was mother-daughter, but how often with she had her daughter's in college now too, but had that opportunity for a few hours to have, talk to people in need, and for a growth opportunity for her and her daughter to be able to talk about what they experienced that day. And then same thing with club members, when you're doing projects together. I didn't know that one Rotarian I was delivering food with actually had a few family members actually living with them and their needs and what some struggles they were going through. And that's a very good feedback there. Someone else also said we get to educate ourselves on local community issues that we may not know about, right? Because someone else tells you about something else going on that they heard about, and that could become another project idea, right? And also Grant says everyone brings different experiences and you can learn from their experience, whether it's project related or even other skills or outlets. So very good. Right. Anything else anyone else wanted to share of how we can learn together? Move on to the next one. I had another example. This was our from Laguna Sunrise. I just figured pull on some of our projects that we did. Talk to you about the holiday, what we were doing with the Elk Grove Food Bank. This was back in June that we also partnered with our local CSC, and they provided us a complex to do our outreach, and also our local Portuguese hall as well. So we had two different locations, one more eastbound side of the city and one more central, because again, we're trying to go where people are that were in need to get food out to them. And then, like I said, we also still had an opportunity to go out to the city itself and community members and ask them to go with us to the shelter in place individuals to get them their food as well. We brought in local restaurants that had been struggling to make ends meet, and we're able to let them make us the dinners for the people as well. So I gave them money, and this was through our grant that we applied for through the city of Elk Grove. So during COVID, we were able to execute two different big reach outs without being able to do our annual fundraiser, which is the Taste of Elk Grove. That didn't happen because of COVID, but we applied for grants through our city and were awarded $25,000 to give out, like I said, to do this kind of a project. So the ways we found out about the grants is through talking to our local community leaders and watching out on the City of Elk Grove website when they opened up more funds for nonprofits. So that's how we got the money to do these kind of, projects. So thinking outside the box, because we had no money to our name. And coming out of COVID right now, a lot of us weren't able to do our usual fundraisers. So I'm looking to different grant opportunities, Benevity, and different areas that offer money is what I would suggest to apply, because you just never know what you'll be able to get. Some of them we applied to Walmart, Target. All of them give out different monies. So you say, where do I go to get money? You can think of a big company. You can ask see what they have for nonprofits. And that's how we were able to execute this one. Another idea that we had that involved community, again, in our businesses, in our city is critical, again, with projects. It brings people in to understand what Rotary is and what we're doing. So we brought in, as you can see, Keller Williams Realty, Park Avenue Cleaners, Dreaming Dog Brewery, again, a different brewery house, and a bank. And we strategically put it across the whole city so that wherever people were, they could get involved in this project, right? And so that is essential, I think. Again, how do you get people engaged in knowing who and what you're about? We had boxes that were big boxes where people could donate from public services. Again, another partner that Actually, we have a Rotarian in our club that was working for Republic Services, and they donated their big giant cardboard boxes that they use for trash recycling, lined them with a big plastic bag and put these labels all over it at the different locations, so people knew we were doing a clothing drive and to donate this way, because not everybody can get to where you are at your Rotary Club, right? So again, going to where people frequent and where they're at is a great way to get more community members involved and asking questions and recruit for membership. Any questions on that one at all that you guys have about? Yes, Mary Jo? Hold on. Me unmute you. Go ahead.
I was going to chat. I was going to put it in the chat, but how many members do you have in your club, Angela?
Good question. Denise is online. I believe we're at 51 now. So on average, we're around 50 members. Is that right, Denise?
Yes.
Okay. So that puts it in perspective for smaller clubs, and there's even bigger clubs, but yeah, great ideas. I love your ideas.
I would tell you our committees are usually no bigger. I'm just saying we try to get everyone involved. Each one of these locations that we picked, not every single person was a Rotarian in our club when we started doing this. However, you know, the Park Avenue cleaners, then when we first started doing this, they did join the other Elk Grove Rotary Club from doing this. And the Keller Williams Realty, even though we lost, she was our president that was from Keller Williams Realty. But we have another person from Keller Williams that then joined our club too from this type of outreach. And the same thing with the other locations. We've had people become Rotarians again from these different projects that they learned about what we were doing. We went and asked them and they became Rotarians. So that, again, good recruitment strategy. Let's see here. We do a sock, Joanne Lemon. Joanne Lemon said, we do a sock drive with our Interact drive. Good idea about the collection boxes. Because again, with the collection boxes on that, Republic Services gets advertising out of that too, right? So that was a win-win for them and they donated that to us. Hank said, nice variety of sponsors and good relationship with Republic. And I think that's just the thing is maybe you don't know where they all are, but ask your members. And that's another way that people can, based on what they do and their vocation and people they may know that you can't think of, but asking that question. Let's see here.
And Angela,
yes.
Miguel asked a question on the clothing drive. How did you identify people that were in need of clothes?
Well, what I do on a yearly basis is talk to Elk Grove Unified School District about the needs. And so the way they get that information is from the Title I schools and the principals of the schools. So we work with the Elk Grove Foster Youth Program quite a lot with our club as well. So again, we had a Rotarian that is we're fortunate in our club, is the superintendent for Elk Grove Unified School District as well with us. So finding out the needs of, we did all sizes. Elk Grove Food Bank as well has a clothing closet. And we asked them what were they in most need of. Most of the time it was underwear, socks, you know, this year, as you can see, it said it was mechanical pencils, screen wipes and earbuds. And this was right before, this was 19. This was from 2019, right before the shutdown of COVID. So there was more of an influence on different school supplies. So, yes, like I said, Chris Hoffman is the superintendent for Elk Grove Unified School District, yes.
So I know you put this flyer out to all the Rotary clubs because we passed it around our club. What kind of response did you get from the other Rotary clubs to this?
We did have from this, and that's a good point, Mary Jo. One of the things I did not mention that we do on a regular basis, I kind of went over it real quick with Rotary 5180, is I share every project that we're doing, a service project with online, to go out on the social media and then send it out to the clubs. I did hear from my sister club, Elk Grove Rotary. They donated to us as well, on top of providing locations for us to put clothing boxes. There was West Sac Club. There was a few. There's like 3 or 4 that donated, Clarksburg, Walnut Grove. So we did hear from people that they did donate to us for this.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. That brings the clubs together too within the district, isn't that?
Well, and for example, Clarksburg didn't have the opportunity to do some other projects on their own, and teaming up together with smaller clubs like someone had mentioned. I'm not sure if that was you, Mary Jo, originally, but that's an idea. You say, well, we just are only of 7 or this, and that's harder. We'll work together to accomplish the project. We've teamed up many times with Elk Grove Rotary, Clarksburg, or Walnut Grove, and different clubs to accomplish a goal. Like I talked about the foster youth programs. Millie Brink and I, when we were presidents, teamed up together to do a whole project of getting transitional foster youth into apartment complexes, and together we all collected things of need for these kids that were transitioning in their own apartments, and together we were able to do so much more. And if you guys
Angela, I was
ahead.
going to say, I just want to commend you on what I hear is a lot of collaboration. You collaborate with other Rotary clubs. You're collaborating with nonprofits in your area, and that's part of the community assessment. What do they need? Which is really important in doing a service project. And you're collaborating with local businesses. And I mean, that's just kind of a trifecta. And it really raises the awareness of Rotary out there as well through all of those collaborations. But I just really have to commend your club specifically for all the collaboration efforts in your service projects.
Thank you. And I know there's a ton out there that a ton of clubs that are doing these things. And like I said, I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel. I think I've borrowed a lot from different people. I am here to answer any questions. I know they said if I can, try to keep it shorter here too, but I'd like to open up for questions. If anyone else had any kind of feedback or questions for me about how we approach projects. I kind of did an overview. I put hit me up anytime. This is my email. This is my phone number. You can text me. I'm a good texter, sometimes not so great with the email. But I know that I'm telling you all to contact me, so I'll be looking at my email. I'm not going to make excuses, but if you guys haven't heard, Ryla just got accepted for a go this year for 2021, and I am the Ryla registrar as well this year. And so we're trying to really hard get all the kids registered. So my email is starting to blow up. So, but I will do my best to get everybody the information I promised. If you want the listing of the TV stations and stuff like that, I have that. Again, partnering is key. And for example, from Channel 31, I've struck up a great relationship with Ashley Williams and another, I just blanked on the other, Lori Wallace. They're both from Elk Grove. I own and live here, and so they have then helped with other events that we're putting on, and been our MCs. So not only have they covered projects, but then Ashley was our MC at our Taste of Elk Grove event. And got to make her a Rotarian one of these days. I keep asking her. So Yeah, so yeah. So yeah, I see the comment about Ryla there, so yep. It's gonna be quick. Anything else anyone else wants to ask in this last few minutes? We got 5 minutes left. Okay, well, I'll leave you to
Angela, I was gonna say, do you want to talk a little bit about community assessment? Because that's always an integral part, whether it's a local service project or an international service project, is what do the communities want? Because it's real easy for Rotarians to come up with great ideas, but how do we talk to our communities and find out what do they want?
Right. Well, one of the things with the community assessments that we've done too is we are active member of our Elk Grove Chamber of Commerce. So for our club, I'll tell you what we do is we have a membership with them. They go through and do a business walk every year, and we use statistics from there as well. I'm actively I'm on the board of directors for the Elk Grove Chamber of Commerce right now too. So we can get information from them as well, what the needs are for the local businesses, as well as the anything else going on in the pulse of the city. Our city council people I mentioned before. The other nonprofits are a great source of information. Again, when we're working in partnership with, like, for example, in Elk Grove, we have a place called Chicks in Crisis. We've got Weave, we've got, like I said, the Elk Grove Food Bank. We work with our local teen center on a number of projects and for youth services, and we help host their teen idol, trying to get teens engaged in productive things. And that's essential to keeping them off the streets and doing not so great things. You know, just asking the questions to them. We've done it more on a personal basis. I do know there are forums and community assessment information that is out on rotary.org as well. So if you guys have not been out there to check out everything at rotary.org that's available to you for absolutely free, please sign out there in your member areas and look at all the information you can get shipped to you from Rotary International too, on how to do these assessments and get the booklet, and just go, it walks you through piece by piece of how to do successful projects. Rotary Showcase, I mentioned before. You want to look at that and get those great ideas, doing videos and posting them for others. We actually got interviewed by the Rotary International magazine one year as well, too, for one of our projects that we put out on Rotary Showcase. We were featured out there as well, too. So you just never know who's looking out there from Rotary International. And it helps others to be able to be effective and efficient with their time and their projects and get our brand out there consistently. Anything else that you want me to, anyone else have questions or things that you want me to talk about?
Angela, if I could chime in real quick.
Yes, Sydney.
You know, what makes Laguna Sunrise so successful in Elk Grove is what you're hearing is this is a two-sided endeavor. Angela's talking about the things that they do and the collaborations that they make with other entities in our community. But I think that's probably the most preeminent thing that they do so well is they support their sister club, and they support other, as she mentioned, other agencies, other organizations in the community. Sometimes there's a one-sided ask where people are asking for help, and you ask for help and ask for help, but then when you have your own fundraiser, they don't reciprocate. Well, Laguna Sunrise is tremendous at that. And so for all of you out there, the partnership goes both ways clearly. But when you support your partner or your fellow Rotarian in good faith, it makes it a win-win for everybody. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thanks, Sydney. Yeah, and vice versa. You guys have been at our events and helped us out too as volunteers, so we could have a much more successful event. And same with the projects. You know, we together we can get so much more accomplished. So I think that's it. Anybody else have anything else? Thank you for your time. It's already 6:10, and if you think of anything else out here that I didn't cover, that burning question, don't hesitate ask, because if I can make it easier on anyone else, that's great. And again, not reinvent the wheel. So it's my philosophy. Have a great
Right.
night, everybody. Thank you for your
Thanks,
time.
Angela.